Alright, in this recording we're going to go ahead and show you how to bring in some heavy dense geometry and retope it. So let's go ahead, when you open this up, ZBrush, you may have this, so go ahead and hide it. So we'll be learning a lot of information, and also we'll be learning the interface of ZBrush. So what we're going to go ahead is go ahead and load a tool. So basically we're loading geometry. So, so we're going to load up Amelia object. It's the loading tool. We're going to import, sorry. So let's go Amelia, open. And what we're going to do is, you won't see it here, there will be two reports on my end because I have a very wimpy machine, but it'll take a while to load it up. It's about 9 million polygons, so it's a lot of data. It should be able to handle a lot more. So we're just waiting. Mine comes up with a dialog error. Hopefully yours doesn't. You guys have some beefier machines. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it in. And I can hold shift to kind of constrain it at right angles. All right, so you're going to let go, and immediately what you're going to do is go into edit mode. Do not click on here again because you'll create another building and you won't be able to do anything. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit edit. And I should be able to turn this building around. Okay, so we're going to be able to see our building as it should be. And again, I can hit shift and it'll flip it onto its right axis. All right, and Geomagic or whatever software, MeshLab, I've got the y-axis in the right direction. So what we're interested in doing is, one of the things you can hit Command and right mouse button to zoom in, right mouse button and Command, and hit Option, Control, Alt, and left mouse button to orbit, and then also just off to the side. You can't click on the surface, but off to the side you can orbit this this object. All right. So if you ever want to move something and you're really close, again, you can't click on there. You can hit frame all. This will always frame your object into the scene. You can also click right on the move tool and move this thing around. As we'll get into this, you'll definitely want to do this. And also rotate and scale tool. You're actually clicking on this icon. It's a little bit quirkier than, let's say, Maya. All right. So what I'm going to focus in is this little area right here. I'm going to just go ahead and retope just these. And I think what we're going to do is just break these into parts until you feel really comfortable with what you're doing. But a lot of this we may have to model in Maya. Just the framing here is very simple. But what we want to do is get this heavy, dense geometry right here and the rocks. It's almost impossible to model that. But since we've got our LiDAR information, we can take advantage of this. All right, so we've got this imported in, and so now what we want to do is create a Z-sphere. So we're going to go to the cylinder, click on it again, hold down. Again, this is a little bit slow on my machine because I'm recording. I'm going to go to Z-sphere, and I'm going to go to my rigging, and I select mesh. Oh. A little quirky, and you really have to get used to the interface of ZBrush versus Maya. So I'm going to go to Amelia, and I'm going to go ahead and not move it, but scale it down. Okay, so we're going to scale this sphere way down. So it's a tiny little sphere. Keep going. Just have to kind of click in the center and then drag up. Again, mine's really slow because it's chugging away on this video. All right, so I got it down to where I need it. So now we're going to get out of rigging and we're going to go to Topology. Go ahead and click on that. I'm going to hit Edit Topology. All right, So in here we don't want to scale anymore, we want to actually draw. So we make sure we hit our draw tool. And also we've got this huge draw size, so we would definitely want to scale this down, maybe to 6 point. Depends on how comfortable you are with this. And again, remember how I said you're going to move using these tools over here. Since we're so close, you don't want to click on there. It's important that you move through this space like this. All right. So what we're going to do is kind of look at close up. I wish we had some photos that could kind of show you what we're going to be working on. So basically, we're going to kind of just work on this little area right here. All right, so what I want to do is go ahead and click here, and I'm going to go a little bit over. Now we can kind of tuck this stuff away when we get into Maya. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click, and all you have to do is, all I'm doing is clicking, and you can see it's a lot lighter versus the Maya retope tool. So I'm going to go over a little bit because this Hokey Stone is actually coming over this space. So I'm going to go a little bit over. We'll probably remodel all this in Maya, so we have a little bit more of a straight edge here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click, and then you can go right here and start making these squares, just like what you would be doing in retopping. All right, so you just kind of approximately click on where the other dot, where your original point where you click, like this. So really quickly, kind of get the feel of it. Okay. The larger the drawer size, probably easier to target your other point. Okay. If you have an issue, just Apple Z, go back. Okay. So this is basically, we're just retoping the surface. Very, very simple retope of the surface. Okay. This is nothing. Nothing hard about this. It's very, very simple. Now, if we had a three-dimensional form, it'd be a little bit different. I think David has a character on the statue that's kind of complicated because some of the faces are facing the wrong direction. So that's why I thought we could do something similar here. So we're going to do simple. So we're going to go ahead and hit A. And you can see this is what your retope surface is going to be looking like. So we'll go ahead and hit A again. Don't freak out. But we do want this to be smooth. So I go back to my tope, and what we want to do is go to our adaptive skin. And on our density, we want to knock this down to 1. So when I hit A, it is not curving. We want it nice and flat. Right? This is probably the most important thing, is this density, keeping this as 1, not as 2. All right, so since we've already created this, well, let's go ahead and we can go ahead and kick this out. So we can start creating this mesh. All right, so again, if you need to change this up, you can hit your move tool. So if you're not really happy where that's sitting, you can use this move tool and move these points really quickly. Okay, so if you want a kind of a uniform look, this didn't go over far enough, you can quickly adjust it. All right, so M, you know about the A, kind of jump back and forth, and the draw tool. And also, if you ever need to go back and add more points, you can hit Shift to reselect this. So let me show that real quick. I'll see you a couple times. Okay, so let's say you need to redo this. So let's go ahead and hit Shift and make sure you're on Draw Tool. So you can hit Shift to reactivate that point. And I'm going to go here like so. All right, again, Shift will go back. So if you ever have to hit Apple Z, you can always go back. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to make adaptive skin. So adaptive skin is basically when we hit A, you can kind of see the simple polygon mesh. So we want to make an adaptive skin so we have it in our library so we can project all onto the surface. So let's go ahead. Again, very crucial that you have this on density 1. If you don't, you have to start all over. So hit make adaptive skin, and you'll see it pop up right here. That's our adaptive skin. All right, so we have our Z-spheres. We want to go back to Amelia right here. And then we're going to go back to the original form. So we're going to double click it. This is our original form. So we're going to go to our subtool, and we want to put this adaptive skin in here. So what we're going to do, so it snaps it right on the surface of what we were doing before we hit a pen tool. And we're going to select our skin. And you can see it slaps it right where we made it created it just a second ago. So we want this to be on top. So we're going to go ahead and hit this little arrow tool. Not this one, you would think would be this one, but this one, this will click it all the way up to the top surface. All right. Couple things before we start working on this geometry. We want to, instead of projecting all, we want to go ahead and go to our geometry. And where it says smooth right here, SMT, I think that means smooth, subdivide, smooth, modifier. Make sure that is off. Right. If you keep that on, it'll start smoothing these edges. And what we want is kind of a sharp edge, because when we bring this into Maya, we kind of want to adjust this and add our hard geometry there later. All right. So we have our subtool, and what we want to do is project all. So we're going to hit our project tool, hit project all. Okay, and you'll see it working a little bit, so don't fight it. And then I'm going to hit Control D, which is on my Mac. Control D, and you'll see it smooth out. I'm going to do another project all. Finish. Control D. Okay, so I don't think it's working. So this is a good learning curve. So one of the things that just happened, if we turn this off, we have the normals facing the wrong direction. So this is a good thing it just happened that you got to see my mistake. So we're going to go to our unified skin. I'm sorry, display. And so if I hit the double, you can see the normals of the polygon are facing the wrong direction. So it's a good thing that this happened. All right, so we want to flip it so the normals are facing the same direction as our scan material. All right, so let's go back to our subtool. Let's go ahead and turn our base layer back on, or our project all will not work. All right, so I hit project all. And then I hit Control. Okay, so you can see something happened this time. All right, Control D. Okay, Control D is duplicating or getting another surface. So we hit project all again. Okay, Control D. And when I hit Control D, you just want to make sure that this is dividing. Okay, so up to 5 divisions already. And I think I screwed that up because I did 2 subdivisions back when it wasn't flipped yet. So this is actually really, really heavy. It should only be about 2 divisions. All right, so let's go back to our subtool and keep project all. D, project all. Control D. And I want to do one more. So I would say stay around 6 or 7. We don't want this way too heavy when we bring it into Maya. We may decimate it so it's not so heavy. So let's go to our geometry. So we have it up to 7 right now. All right, so let's see what we have. Let's go to our subtool. Let's turn off our background layer. And so you can see our geometry, just click on the geometry, so you have up to 8 layers. See, it's kind of bitmappy, it's not looking fantastic, but if I hit Shift D, you can see original retope surface, and if I hit D, then you go all the way up to the highest level. So I'm going to click one more projection all. That'll be 8 or 9, but again, it should be around 7. I think my first subdivides were wrong when they were flipped around, so you should have a lower number. But let's try to keep it at 7 or 8. So let's go back to our subtool. Make sure that base layer is on with the eye wink. And we're going to go ahead and hit project all one more time. And you can see up here, usually there's a line. I'm not sure why my line's not showing. Here it is. So you can see it starting to really chug along. So when it takes this long, I usually think, that's probably a good time to stop. All right, so we'll do one more subdivide. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go look at our subdivisions on this. Maybe looking pretty bitmappy right now because of my computer is recording. I'm sure my graphics card is just like, well, what the heck is going on? So if we get up close, you can see the level of detail. I'm going to go down a notch. I think it's a little bit better quality than what we're seeing right here, but because of my recording, it looks pretty bad. Anyways, let's see how quickly we can bring the surface up. Let's scale this up a little bit, see if I can go to. So one stop there, we're definitely going to get it into UV mapping this and then projecting on a surface. Unfortunately, I don't think I have the photos for this, so hopefully in class we'll get those and I'll show you how to put the surface on there. Right now we just have a red clay surface, so I'm going to go ahead and change that to any color you want. To a skin surface if you want. Alright, so let's stop there so you kind of get an idea of how you're going to break this scene apart. You definitely want to kind of see how you're going to break this scene apart. So we've got one little area here, one little area there, so you can think about these little chunks of this rock, and let's kind of break it apart into big chunks like this one right here, small chunk, small chunk. Alright, good luck, and again, we're going to try to just work on just this building today because there's a lot to learn before you get into your own building. Alright, good luck.